Good evening. It's been a rainy Sunday, all day Sunday, and I finally went out and went visiting. I helped Sonny wanted to. I had brought him some soil and stuff. We planted like a little thing like that. We planted some stuff for in spring. Whatever he had, just a little bit. I don't even remember. I don't even know. But anyway, we did that, and I came back. I just, took a walk. The dogs love to walk with me. They're so good. They don't go in the yard. I think that mammals, or even dog mammals, are very surprising how much they can communicate. I think it's a shame that we had put so many animals in zoos and stuff. Of course, they were just trying to clear out areas, and make a profit at it while they're doing it in many ways as they can. So they call like civilizing or bringing capitalism, whatever the propaganda was during the time that they was, clearing out an area. It's like, it's sort of like anyway, like the Wild Wild West. You want to hear a funny story about the Wild Wild West? Like, if you ever, you can sort of look at Gunsmoke to get the idea that where you see, the sheriff and his deputy, and then he goes to the saloon for Kitty. You know what I'm saying? Well, the way the story was when they had a land grab, and basically they had, killed all the buffalo, put the Indians a reservation and cleared that area, right? So, in Kansas and Oklahoma, right? Anyway, and so first they bring in, supposedly, they had the military guys that was there, right? So they finally bring in the women over from Europe, and and they've been haggard all the way and just abused all the way, I guess if the guys was horny, hey, they're just property, so by the time they got to where they was to the new town, where these guys was promised for all, that was their bounty, that was their reward. They get these white women, and a lot of them had already been fighting. They've been there, whatever, and it already had claimed some of the women folks there, I guess already, a few of them. They were getting chastised. So anyway, when the women supposedly got there, they didn't want them. They just didn't want them. They had all type of problems. For all the sexual abuse on the way up there, they were just, they didn't want them. So they stayed at the saloons. Yeah, there might have been one or two, but anyway, so they're like, sit them back. So the joke is that's one of the things you always hear, white people say, sit them back, because that's all they heard was sit them back. Can you imagine what a fucking nightmare that had to be for those women? And I hear some women talking about, I can't go back, to go back to old time, some white women. I was just looking at her, your only worth is what? Because you had and you didn't get a woman just for they all made a grievous error. Nobody wants here's a surprise. We don't know what you're gonna get. It's like a puppy, a baby, yeah, maybe a puppy, but now a whole grown human being. You don't know what type of experience they had, or how they're gonna respond to stuff because of the way they've been treated. But anyway, if you ever look at Gunsmoke, which if you think of it as in more of an objective way of and I think at the same time, if you look at Africa and you look at the different diseases, you notice the first thing they did was they built their buildings and their homes off the ground by some level, so the water and sewage and whatnot runoff would they wouldn't be walloping in it. And I see that I was watching Vice News. and they were showing it was like the second time I seen it. I seen it before the big outbreak and Ebola came. We had a couple of people here with Ebola, whatever. And well, anyway, and I noticed again for the second time, they're right flat on the ground. They're in puddles, and the lady cuts herself, and what I'm saying, she just used an old towel to wipe it off and goes back to the thing. What I'm saying, they don't have. So I guess that's why, like, if you come from one of those countries, you come here, wow, this is marvelous, you got indoor plumbing, and you're off the ground, and it's just like with the refugee camps, what I'm saying, the first thing, and I know that they have those things that they put all the boxes and supplies on, and they put the forklifts, and they can lift up these wooden planks. Right, you could build them on. You could put a wood plank. You could take old rocks and use those planks, or whatever. And put the rocks, like underneath it, so there still be like some drainage there, some big boulder like, so that it's supported, some type of support underneath it. Maybe, some 2x4s or something, and if they would get off the ground. You know what I'm saying? If they could get off the ground, if they could elevate it, you know what I'm saying? But I was saying that, I was like, there's no wonder. The same way, like, there was like a theory about the reason why they had so many diseases and plagues in Europe is because, like, supposedly, this is another one of those fables that I used to hear when I was a kid. Or not a fable, but a story. But like they went in the Great Crusades when the Christian Union soldiers were marching forth and raping and pillaging and taking over property. They got to Alexander, and it's a very actually the way the story goes is it's actually Rome. Because of the way the structure and around is, and they came in there, and then the people actually had a summer place or a place of port, which was another secondary place. But anyway, so when they started copying the structures, because like the women supposedly were the ones that was very much into the math and everything, because they would go by the 13-month calendars with 28 days. Except for when you were following a herd, you would go by the calendar that we have. And they were like, well, that's the woman's calendar because it wouldn't go by your cycle. But, but it just that the 28 days and 13 days fit just perfect. So anyway, so when they copied this and they totally dismissed the women, as going to slavery, whatever, and irrelevant. Well, anyway, they forgot to build indoor plumbing because there's other places already had indoor plumbing. They had aqueducts where the only problem was they had lead poison. But anyway, but as the story goes, they didn't copy that part. So they were dumping their feces and it had a lot of feces that they were walloping in from the animals and everything else. They weren't separating it away from them, so they had colic and they had all type of bad stuff, open cuts and leeches. Because if you had like a cut or a sore, and then you use water with manure in it. But anyway, so they didn't copy that part. So basically, they were throwing shit on themselves. And if you go by the theory that there were actually people here in America before they came, right? You could imagine up in Harlem they had something akin to plumbing. But down with the white people that they were bringing in off the boats and everything down there, the lower part of Manhattan, lower east Manhattan, they didn't do any indoor plumbing, so they were still throwing shit out like they did in Europe. So they had a outbreak of cholera. So the secret is, like even if you just have to use hollow bamboo or something like that to take something away, even if it has to be replaced, they need to get those people up off the ground and not walloping in, the refuge, trash, and feces and urine and rotten food and yeah, whatnots, bones, So you know what I mean. I could see like where because like one's like what I'm saying, because they're not living in their natural habitat. They've had, it was such a rich and fruitful land before the white man came along, and everything that's done there is intentionally. I think that in some places, like what's happening in Nigeria with that Boko guy, I just look at Bozo, whatever his name is, that Muslim that kidnaps those girls. In some ways, I think that there's been, a bunch of misguided propaganda put onto these people, what I'm saying, to keep them suppressed. If my theory is, if you got half the population already, what I'm saying, they can't drive, they can't do this, and they're just basically irrelevant, but they're the ones that you're going to have to depend on your tomorrow. The children that these women that they kidnap and they use so savagely and without any empathy or anything for their tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's self-gratification now. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking. You know what I'm saying? They've been misled, I'm sure. And then locally in the United States, rather, I was seeing the thing about that Mitt Romney thinking he's going to run for president. And wasn't the Mormons, did you ever read any of those biographies of those women that came out of the Mormon thing that end up in Vegas as prostitutes? You know what I'm saying? And his father went down to Mexico to avoid, getting prosecuted for his acts on the females and what they were doing to females and children alike. So so conveniently they come back, so he could so he could try to be president. But I also noticed, I'm sure he has a lot of money because if you got you got 6 or 7 women in some of these Mormon places, and they're not married but to one husband, and the other 5 women are all on welfare, living in hut houses. I'm sure I'm sure that you can have some families that would break out of that type of thing, and I don't know if it's really prostitution that the Mormons that up in around Vegas way and Utah and all that, when their children, they can't afford their children, or children get too grown or they get to a certain age, they ship them off to you know what I'm saying, and this this guy is the pimp, their husband or whatever, business manager, promoter, producer, whatever you want to call this dude, But anyway, I read a book where she escaped, and I think she brought her sister along with her, and I think she already had a child or something, and the whole thing was to get her child out of the situation. But what I bring up Mitt Romney for is that he was supposed to be going through some type of court hearing where he had inhibited, some government official from really doing her job, mainly because I think he wanted to get another one of his family members in there, and he pretty much broke the law. So I don't know how he got away with not, doing 15 to 20 years forever. Just shows you a lot how our court system and our justice system needs to be fixed. But anyway, with those funny little glasses on, Mitt Romney reminds you of that little kid in the 4th grade, I won't name him. But anyway, that that he's being, everybody's oh, he's, he's gay, whatever. But in hindsight, as an adult, that there was abuse going on there. some type of physical abuse. That's what he reminds you of. And you never know which way those motherfuckers will flip because they smile in your face, and you know what I'm saying. You go in their house, it's a fucking dungeon and a hell for their fucking kids. But anyway, I just see a very sad situation of people we gotta pick from. And that's the main problem when you don't, when you don't have mothers that are, doing 100% would make a man happy. You know what I'm saying? Because these women got the propaganda down pat. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. I don't see really any changes because it's gonna happen, because really, like, the ones that really could benefit from the changes and from everything, they're the ones that are really keep it going. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the point to where it's really irrelevant anyway, because I just know nobody's gonna let no Mitt run in there, because ain't nobody want that. You know what I'm saying? He's sort of like a man that has 6 wives and all that. I don't care. I know a lot of guys out there. Yeah, they're the man. But look at the punk ass motherfucker. Take a good look at him. Soft ass looking, wishy-washy, change his motherfucker with all you gotta do. He's a straight up whore. Every time they show a different dollar, the bitch changes. You give them $1 for this, and give them, you know what I'm saying? But they all about money, and they low life, and they're dirty, and and right where the Romneys are on the other side of Mexico, where right on the other side of the border over here, they got some of them. I think it's like right below, like around Arizona, Arkansas. I don't know, but anyway, they're right above. They got a ranch right over. Like, you could just cross over the border like that right there. And right around there is all, all the X-rated, places. It makes you wonder, when you go in a certain area, and that area is flooded with sex, like women dancing, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I think a lot of people, but the ones that really, truly they need the help. They're in dire danger of the consequences of some of what the results of the propaganda does. And the way I'm talking about is the health, financial, education. All this is way below par. And it's a struggle, but if it doesn't take much to distract you, be it a sports game, or be it drugs, or be it alcohol, or be it sex, you know what I'm saying? To realize that you don't have to live in such a struggle and be a slave to the bank, to be a slave to your next loan, to be a slave to your next paycheck, be a slave to, I gotta have my hair extension. I personally don't give a fuck what somebody thinks about my goddamn hair. One mouth is good hair, they be jealous, they be not jealous. I don't care, because the whole shit is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? If that's a way to make you feel bad, if that's a way to make you some pain or anguish, you know what I'm saying? I hear black people talking about they damn hair so fucking bad. You know what I'm saying? They got their kid right there. I don't know how that kid is feeling, because, you know what I'm saying, that kid, got black hair too. I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Cause I mean, I don't hang around motherfuckers that too long. They ain't gonna talk too much shit in front of my face. I'll put you in check. You know what I'm saying? Cause first of all, you know, you can always donate to the cause. There's a lot of, this capitalist society, so the lip service don't do shit and don't give a fuck. But like, I mean, and there's a lot of women I know they was doing all that hair extension and stuff like that, and a lot of those braids, and it did cause some that severe hair loss, and where it was I don't know. I guess you have to sacrifice, but I don't really care really. Most people either like you or they don't like you. It's no in between. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, and those hackers that we had on Facebook or whatever, they're like, oh, I can't get a hold of a few people. I know. That's what happens when you give a limit. When you give a little information. Like it's like when you start teaching like a 7-year-old something, and then you haven't really explained everything, but they're excited about getting to do it, and they're like, I know, I got it, and you know what I'm saying. So you go ahead and let them do it, and they really don't got it. So then you gotta take them there again, but you don't want to start all over again because you don't want to lose their patience. Well, these bitches will keep starting all over again. So they'll never get past, especially the person explaining it to them. It's like, I remember they say you could always tell a very smart person because they're able to explain it to you in such a way that you can understand it. You can always tell someone that don't know what the hell they're doing because they can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't explain it to your child, you know what I'm saying? That's why we have libraries, Googles, and other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Try to get some information to those kids. If you don't know the information, the best thing you could do to a child is say, you know what, I don't know that information, but let me show you how to find it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's been a long day, Sunday. It's another rainy day. But this rain wasn't as bad as the other day. It wasn't like as severe like the pressure or whatever. But I don't know. We got some weird weather, and regardless, I don't know. I just think that like a lot of the problems that we talk about, global warming, about the pollution, in the air, water, and all that, a lot of that. And we don't even talk about the whole hole in the ozone anymore, because why should we? Because everybody wants to go the fuck out of space. Please. Try going underwater and living under there first. Try to have buffalo back roaming in between in Kansas and Oklahoma again. It's just free range, and try that first. Try rooftop farming in the city. Try to get away from your genetic modified organisms. Never mind. That's why they say GMOs. I was touching my face. I was like oh. Anyway, it's almost 8 o'clock. I thought I was going to have my chili for a week, but it looks like not. I'm going to go ahead and have some. I think I finish off this chili here and get ready for the night. I don't have the heat on right now, so I'm going to turn the heat on. Give me a fine meal. Take me a hot bath and go to sleep. Have a good evening.